things like, well, if you don't listen to the faith, and if you don't follow that straight path that we tell you to follow, which is really more crooked, if you don't do the things that we say, then you're in trouble. Damned for all of eternity. Fear tactics. God never gave us the spirit of fear, but man likes to throw fear at you from the moment that you are able to read a Bible. Oh, excuse me. I know I shouldn't use that word Bible. I shouldn't call it the scriptures. Right, no, because according to many of you out there, the Bible, the scriptures, no, that's the Word of God. As if this book of 66 books, 6 is the number of man, 66, the double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. You know, God has a sense of humor after all. Scriptures, they're good for reproof, correction, instruction. I love the Bible. I've read it many, many times. I can quote it with the best of them. That's why I can tell you very clearly there's no such thing as eternal torment, there's no such thing as a Trinity, there's no such thing as a rapture. But you don't want to hear that, because a lot of the people that go to certain churches, they only want to hear what they've been taught, what they've been spoon-fed since they were little children. They've been going to their altars, and they want to believe what they've been told. And the moment that someone comes in like Elijah and says something a little bit different, they get scared. We got to shut that guy up. He's talking crazy talk. But the Word of God doesn't return void. I'm not talking about the Bible there. Your word, O Lord, is truth. The Bible are the scriptures. People, try to get this through your head. The Bible is a book, a canon of books, of 66 books, canonized by the religious system that said this is the holy Word of God. Even though we know the Word of God, it's not a bunch of pieces of paper and ink. No, the Word of God is the Spirit of life that's in all of us. So tell me why everybody keeps, the Word does this, and the Word says that, and the Word says this. When the Word, my friend, is life. Even Jesus didn't call the Bible the Word of God. He said, isn't it written in your book? He said, you search the scriptures, for in them you seek eternal life, and they are the very things that testify of me, and that's what it is. It's an allegory, a book of allegories that speak of us. Elijah cried out, they tore down all your altars. No one wants to know the truth anymore, God. All I want to know is Baal. Do you know what Baal means? It means Lord, Lord worship. The Lord said this, the Lord said that. And Elijah said, I'm the only one left, and they seek to kill me. But what did God say? God said, I have 7,000 who have not bowed their knee to Baal. 7,000, a complete number, a remnant of people that are going to hear the truth, that are going to stand up for the truth. And this encouraged Elijah, because as I stand here and I walk down the streets and I see church after church after church after temple after synagogue after mosque, I see buildings all over the place. I see altars of Baal everywhere, and there is not one place that I can go in fellowship. Do you know why? Because no one wants to believe in a God of love. No one wants to believe that they should be kind to their neighbor, that they should forgive their enemies. No one wants to believe that God is in control. They use the scriptures, they use them as a bat. They find quote after quote after quote, and they point them out and they say, you're going to burn because it says this. And they discount all of the other scriptures that say the exact opposite. They don't understand that the kingdom is a mystery, and mysteries need to be uncovered, revealed. This, my friends, this, as much as I love the scriptures, is not the word of God. And it's become an idol in so many people's hearts. They will use that as opposed to their heart and love. So what did Elijah do? Altars all over for Baal. Everywhere he turned. So he said, gather the prophets. Bring it. And they all came. And he said, put the sacrifice onto the pile of wood. And we'll see who can call fire down from heaven first. And all the prophets of Baal are there, and there's so many of them. And they're chanting, and they're dancing, and they're cutting themselves with stones. What do you think the stones are, by the way? It's the law. How many of us cut ourselves with stones? How many of us use the scriptures to condemn us as opposed to lead us and to guide us? And no fire. Nothing comes down from heaven. Even Elijah sits down and goes, well, maybe God doesn't hear you. Maybe you should shout a little louder. Starts giving him a little hard time. See, we got to be careful, those that understand. We can't be mocking people because they haven't been where we are. We can't make fun of people because they can't see what we see or hear what we hear. We got to understand we're all one. And the prodigal will return. You may think right now that you're alone in the land and you're bearing the heat. And you're working the Father's field. And you're looking at all of them, all these prophets of Baal. And you're seeing them fleecing the flock and taking money from people. And you see them lying to people. And you see them giving out false hope. And you speak the truth and you say that there's a purpose and a plan for all things. And these men, no, they're coming against you and they attack you. And they say, no. God is not in control. God is not love. Only a few will be saved. And they don't even know what salvation is. Elijah knew what salvation was. So when it came turn for him, what did he do? He said, go get me some water. And we know what water is, right? Water, the truth, the teaching, the doctrine of God. Pour it all over the sacrifice. And immediately, fire consumed the whole thing. But what most people don't understand is what was consumed was not just a mere beast. It was the beast nature in man. It was their idolatry. It was everything. Everything they put their faith in. Everything they put their faith in. Instead of the truth. Instead of the kingdom. Instead of Christ in you, the hope of glory. They put their faith in this. And they call this the Word of God. That's not the Word of God. These are the Scriptures. Scriptures, which are good for reproof and correction and instruction. This is not the Word of God. The Word of God is in you and it is in me. You have to know the difference. You cannot make this an idol, and it's become an idol in so many people's lives, and it needs to be ripped away. Fire needs to be called down from heaven to take away every carnal belief that we have. So after Elijah was done and the sacrifice was gone, the people knew the truth. The people knew the only way to rid themselves of the idolatry in their heart was to go to God and to God alone. It wasn't to go to religion. It wasn't to go to this and memorize this every day of the week. No. There's only one way into the kingdom. And if you're going to use this to condemn people, if you're going to use this to tell people that they're wrong in the way that they live, and you're going to quote things, and you're going to say, oh, this is literal, when everything that is written in these scriptures is an allegory, well then I say, I want this idol gone from my heart. I don't know about you, but I'm about tired of having people come to me and tell me that the Bible is the only Word of God that there is, because I know I don't need a book to know God. I only need to know God. Now here's the fun part. I didn't rip the Bible up, people. I ripped up my book, The Calling, A Voice in the Dead Woods. We didn't think it was fair for me to rip up any other book, and I certainly wouldn't rip up the Bible, but there is a point to this lesson. How did you feel when you saw me ripping it up? Did you think that I was less a man of God? Did you think that everything that I've said in the past was no longer relevant because you saw me rip up what you thought was the Word of God? How did you feel? Did you feel that I was the man that people say I am? Coming in here to subvert the Christian faith as opposed to liberating it? How did you feel when you saw me rip that book up and you thought it was the Bible? Did it make you angry? Well, if this made you angry, then that means that you have a God before God. And He tells you to get rid of everything before Him. It's time to stop using your religious nonsense to tear people down and hurt people. It's time to ask for the truth, no matter what the cost. Because what you think that you see and what you think that you know, you really don't know. It's all an illusion. You've been sold a lie, so much so that you don't know up from down, left from right. And if you have no love in your heart, and if you are using the Scriptures to condemn or to tear down or to say that things